I do believe with some of the things that's being said with retirement, whether it be Andy, which I do believe is crazy, but also to Travis, talking about him as well, right? We've seen his brother already retired this year. Somebody made assertion about 3 or 4 weeks ago that maybe Travis would retire so both brothers get into the Hall of Fame at the same time, first ballots, right? Can you imagine going in, you and Teja going in at the same time, celebrating something like that? It'd be incredible, right?
Yeah.
Incredible. Are they trying to push Andy into retirement? Is this something they're saying Andy has already established himself? And if he loses this one, is Shanahan the new guy on the block? So we talking about cycles. So it went from Belichick to now where's Andy? And now Shanahan, right? Shanahan's got to the playoffs, and like you were saying before, Teja, he's getting there, but he's not winning it. Okay. Andy had a time when he was winning the 4, getting to the NFC championships, got to the Super Bowl, didn't win it. And so now, like you said, they have set themselves up for the future. We understand that Deebo Samuel's going to be here for 2025. CMC is going to be here for a long time. Purdy, for all intents and purposes, is very undervalued at this moment because of the things he's been doing. But if you keep this core group of guys around him, right, then guess what? Yeah, it could be talk about them getting into a dynasty. And I could believe them talking about something like that, right? Here's a guy nobody expected to come. This guy from Iowa State as a quarterback that nobody's seen. He unseeds Garoppolo that you paid a whole lot of money to. Get him out of there, okay? You get Trey out of there and send him down to Dallas, okay? And now all of a sudden this kid is coming in, Brock Purdy, who has all the looks, the cachet. He's got the charisma that everybody likes. He's a good guy. That might be the thing. Do they push Andy Travis into retirement, right? That could be the thing. I'm guaranteed there's conversations around this because they keep bringing it up. Andy, is he going to retire? What is he going to do? So I'll go ahead and I'll touch on that a little bit, I guess, as far as part of the theme. What is Andy going to do after this game? If they win, same thing. He's done everything he's possibly been able to do. He's got Super Bowls on his belt. He's taken 2 teams to the Super Bowl, right? And so the thing is, does he just ride out on his horse, being a winner, okay, and leaving everything to all the guys there? So that to me might be the theme for me. Are we pushing him into retirement?
JD, you know Andy Reid. You played under Andy Reid, and obviously anyone who's followed the Andy Reid history, the offensive guru who was ahead of his time as far as being this offensive guru in a league which was a very defensive league for the longest time, and over the last 10 years, it's become this offensive league. And Andy Reid was searching the entire world for years to find his guy, his Mahomes. McNabb had some solid years in Philadelphia with him, and he obviously, and anyone knows Andy Reid's history, he made do with some guys who weren't the most top-notch quarterbacks, but he made do and he won with them because he's that good, and he's that good of an offensive schemer. Do you think, let's say, and this is one thing that I think I've had some arguments, some Chief fans who say, oh, Chris Jones is going to go. I don't think Andy's going anywhere. I don't think Kelsey's going anywhere, whether we win or lose. And I especially think if we win on Sunday, Chris Jones is not going anywhere. Andy Reid's not going anywhere. Travis Kelce's not going anywhere. Why would anyone leave in the middle of a potential three-peat? Something that doesn't happen. It rarely happens in sports, especially in football, because you have 53 guys. NBA, you see that stuff happen. There's only 12 guys on a roster. You have a starting 5. That's it. You get 5 all-stars on one team. Your chances are you're going to go to the finals every year. What we're doing is unprecedented, and the fact that we're going to go to a three-peat. And I just think Andy's not going to go anywhere with as long as he has Patrick Mahomes. And I think you and I talked about this before. As long as he has Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. As long as he can coach, I think he's going to continue. Do you think there is any legitimacy to the retirement talk?
The only way I think something like that could happen, well, I don't think, or there's whispers for sure. He's going to be 66 years old after all this is over, said and done. We're going into the season. And people are going to argue for things that's happened in his life Maybe some people have brought up his health, maybe being a reason. Like there's different things that people talk about, with Andy and his retirement. Me personally, I believe him being in that environment with young guys around him, with Patrick Mahomes having your guy, I just don't think that is something that is true. Same with Travis. I think Travis, with Travis, with Swift, with Taylor Swift, to him having that type of stardom and him being at the top of his career, there'd be no reason to step out, right? But everybody was talking about he slowed down, he looked a little bit different, all those different things, right? I had a conversation when somebody was, my guy that was shout out if he's watching this, okay, dude that was doing my oil, my mechanic, and he was saying that, Travis Kelce, he had him in fantasy. He said Travis wasn't doing what he was doing early on toward the end of the year when he got rid of him. Of course, he starts catching a lot of balls in the playoffs. And I was like, look, man, Travis has been as dominant as ever. People could say all these different things, but people forgot he had gotten hurt. But the same thing with Andy. Andy has been doing a phenomenal job. Yet people can bring up his health, bring up family issues and all those different things. I just don't think, especially when you have this type of success, why walk away from it? Why walk away? These are the things that bring, keep you young. So I don't know. I think probably because also too, we had to bring up Belichick, Saban, those guys. Well, what about the old guards? Are they gone? Is this it for them? Right? Is a new group of guys coming in? We seeing all the head coaches. They're young now. All the head coaches are young guys. You don't really see guys get into their 60s. At 65, he's going to be 66. I don't know, man. So
what's weird is, and this is sorry, Teja, I don't know if you're going to add anything there, but what's weird is, so Belichick's 71 years old, and Andy Reid's like 65, 66. Mm-hmm. The amount of times we've heard retirement, oh, is this it for Andy? Is this it for Andy? Andy's a young buck compared to Belichick. Well, Belichick won the Super Bowls. You didn't have Terry Bradshaw throwing the mic in his face. Is this it? Is this your swan song? Like, what? Dude, I just won the Super Bowl. Get out of my face with that. Like, Bradshaw got in his face right away and asked him that question right after he won a Super Bowl. And it's like, Belichick's 6 years older than him. We're still talking about, why isn't Belichick in the job? No one's saying Belichick's even going to retire. He's 6 years older than him.
Yeah.
But with Andy, it's like, oh, this is it. He wins. This one's done. It's like, why? He's still young compared to some of these other guys. The Pete Carrolls of the world too.
So I'll throw the question right back on both of you all, right? We know that Belichick, and I would say this, the Belichick's he's outstayed his welcome. That's what I feel. He probably should have retired a couple of years ago, to be honest. So does Andy walk out on top if he wins this one? And it's like, okay, well, why stick around if you don't win another one or another two? Walk out right at the peak of everything that you've been doing. Okay, you've had an incredible career. We know that you're one of the greatest coaches of all time in the NFL, right? I think Belichick was trying to stay around so Andy didn't break any of his, that the ego part of that comes in. I think that's part of it. So does Andy stay around and say, hey, look, I've done this, I've done all of that. I want to go out on top. Is there an heir apparent to him, right? If we talk about Bieniemy and all those different things. Look, that's a whole different show. That's something we could always get into a little bit later. But what do y'all think? Y'all think Belichick overstayed his welcome or what? What do you think?
I think it's kind of messed up. I think it's a partial weight discrimination. I think if Andy were like ripped up and like in shape, no one would be talking about retirement.
It's good.
No one would be talking about that. Because every time, how much older is Carroll than Reid?
3 years.
He was the oldest coach in the league, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, it was Carroll then Belichick. That was the age.
Mid-70s?
Carroll's 72, so he's 2 years older than Belichick.
So he's 6 years older than Reid?
Andy Reid 65, yes, he's 7 years older.
No one talked about Carroll. Hey, look at the Carroll. He coached for like 10 years. Well, because he's like, he chews his gum loudly and like runs down the sidelines when like a team picks the ball off. Like, yeah, Reid obviously can't do that. I mean, that's partial because of the weight. So like, I just have a feeling it's appearance, mostly everything else. Everyone acts like they have his friggin' chart, his doctor chart when they talk about him. It's like, you don't know what's going on with them. It's like, well, it could be health. It could be, we're completely speculating because, he's not in the best shape in the world. So that's ridiculous though. But
he
might be the heaviest head coach in the league.
Yeah, but look, he's a real.
I don't know. McCarthy might be heavier than him, actually.
McCarthy, I don't know.
It's pretty close.
McCarthy's been losing he's been losing weight. I don't know. He maybe picked it back up. He looked like
he's getting stressed out. He's getting stressed out.
Yeah.
Losing his appetite over there.
Yeah.
But I do think that's partial. I think that's a huge part of it. I think if he were just like a in shape 66, 65-year-old, I don't think there'd be this much discussion about it, especially with what's going on right now. Now, if we had like a disastrous season and it was like falling apart at the seams, Mahomes is yelling at people, not including refs, but just yelling at teammates and fighting with Andy Reid. And it's like, all right, you know what? Like maybe it's time. Kind of like how it was going toward the end of the Eagles. It was kind of like, you know, it's time. You've had a great run and you're still a great coach, but maybe it's time to move on. But I don't think there is a move on to another coaching position here or another team. If a move on happens in Kansas City, it's moved on to retirement because there's nowhere to go. There's no upgrade here. There's nowhere else to go. Like you,
like a front office role I could see.
Yeah. But I'm saying there's no other team to go to. He's not like going to another team. Like it's this or done. It's Kansas City or over, right? So
right.
I don't see why you would leave. But while you guys were talking about that, I was like, so what? You have to wait for like Mahomes to retire before he could leave because there's never a good time to leave. Every year we could win the Super Bowl until 15's not here anymore. So it's like, when is there a good time? Like, okay, let's say we win this. Can't leave in the offseason. You can't leave a three-peat. Okay, let's say we lose next year. We could go 3 out of 4. I mean, like every year's a chance to win the lottery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Going back to JD's question about Belichick overstaying his welcome, I do think Belichick overstayed his welcome. And I would say that kind of ties into what I was saying earlier about how the game has progressed. Whereas Belichick, when he dominated through the 2000s, it was more of a defense had more of an emphasis in the game, where the game has kind of evolved and now it's more of an offensive game. It's finally caught up to what Andy has been cooking up his whole time in Philadelphia throughout his 20 plus years in the league. And I think now that we're in this offensive kind of game that the NFL has become, I think that's now the time to step away, especially when you do have Patrick Mahomes, especially when you are practically living in the AFC Championship game. And obviously there are pros to walking out on top, you know, winning back-to-back and then leaving and then having his predecessor come in, you know, being able to handpick, whether it's Nagy, Bieniemy, whoever that may be. I do see the pros behind that, but I'll say like the fact that we are embarking on a potential three-peat, you can't leave during that. And yeah, what I will say to that, Teja, is as far as when's a good time to go, I think if we are, as long as this team continues to live in the AFC Championship game, I'd say, let's say next year we lose in the divisional or a wild card round. Then I'd say, you know what, maybe it is time to go. Maybe it is time to go. But I'll say as long as we're staying in these AFC Championship games and going to the Super Bowl, I mean, you keep it going. What does Kelsey always say? Until the wheels fall off, baby. Until the wheels fall off.
I'm all about avoiding regret in like this life period. I try to do that at least when I can. I just think when Andy's looking back, I think he would regret leaving early more than he would staying 1 or 2 years too late. And we were talking about this earlier with Chris Jones and Tyreek Hill and his recent comments about missing it. If he's like the little brother who's missing out on fun on what's going on with Kansas City. Like, you tell me right now, Tyreek Hill wouldn't give back $3 million a year to be in 2 straight Super Bowls? I mean, come on now. Like,
definitely. Yeah, of course.
Come on. Like, but at the time it was like money's money. They're a great team. We can go to the Super Bowl there too. It sounds really simple, doesn't it? It sounds really simple. Add me to any roster. We're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, buddy. But then you got to face us. So good luck with that. So like, that's the problem, right? It's so easy to say that, oh, I'll turn that roster around and we'll go do that every year, but you're not going to. So like, and then after 2 years of us doing it, 1 year stepping over you to go there, it's like, now what do you say? Now, was that extra $4 million a year worth it? I don't know. Right. So it's really hard. It's hard to leave that kind of sustained success. And for the Chris Joneses who might leave, when you're hearing a guy like Tyreek Hill say those things, and when you're Andy Reid hearing a guy saying like, I wish I was there, how can you leave somewhere that your peers are wishing they were there for? You know what I mean? Like, no one ever doesn't want to be on that roster, that bus, that win, you know, that parade.
Yeah. But Tyreek Hill went down there, obviously thought he was to make them better, and he did. He made him a contender. He made them a legitimate team. And so I thought he felt like his talent was going to get him over the top, no doubt about it. Did he foresee them getting beat twice by the Chiefs? Not at all. Not at all. And so I guess early what they were doing, in the season, like they was killing everybody. I mean, they hung up 74, whatever it was, 70 some points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, hey man, we going to Super Bowl. We're unstoppable, right? And so I get, because of the success, and like you said, he built this rapport, man, with all his boys. He cut his teeth in Kansas City, and seeing all the guys go through it. And now he's got to be on the outside doing the same thing we're doing. He's got to talk about it. That's all he can do. He get to talk about it. So I agree with you. He would have definitely given that up. On the flip side of that, okay, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here a little bit. We talked about this at the coaches convention. One of the things that we brought up about this was health. Okay, Teja, we brought health up. All right.
Okay.
About coaches being in good health, good shape. The type of pressure, the stress that actually you put on yourself and your body.
Sure.
So I think it's a real thing, just talking about Andy, just kind of being in shape, and people would, like you said, people won't be talking about it, but it's like in any other job, right? If you see something where somebody may not be in the greatest of health, or have had health issues, or things that happen to them, then it does give you a little pause, right? It's like, okay, what are you prioritizing? Is it the environment that's putting more stress on you than anything else, right? Do you alleviate that by just saying, look, let me just go ahead and retire, walk out on top. I still got, time to be with my grandkids, move around with them. So do I want to use my time, my 66 years, while I'm still relatively young, to give to my grandchildren? Or do I want to wait till I'm 70, 72, where I know I can't move around as much? We don't know how great, health are, somebody is. And waste that time, look back like I probably should have done it. I probably should have stepped out a little bit earlier. So I don't know. I think an argument can be made either way.
Sure.
Of course, right, like we're doing. But I do agree that with this, because of the stress, winning cures a lot, right? It cures a whole lot. And I think, if you're staying in, like Patrick said, I could see Andy being here like another 2 to 3 years. I could see that. 2 or 3 years would be great for Andy, at least 2, okay? Because I think the band to be all together, him and
not counting this year.
Huh?
2 more years.
Yes,
right?
yes, correct.
Yeah, not counting this year.
I'm not counting this year. 2 more years. 2 more years. I think the band stays together, right? And that's PM15, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid, right?
Andy and Travis may be retiring together.
Yes, no, exactly. That's how I feel. I think
that's a realistic timeline. I feel.
Yeah, I think they're having this conversation with both of them. I guarantee they're probably having that talk.
Yeah. They're pretty much on the same timeline. One's coaching timeline and one's playing career timeline, right? Like,
right.
How much longer do you want to do this together? And it'd actually be great for both to go out at the same time. Would be really cool. Right?
Oh man, yeah.
Talk
about storylines. Awesome. Yeah, storylines. Goodness gracious. And
then those storylines will be, will the Chiefs bounce back from this, guys? I mean, losing Andy Reid and losing, Travis Kelce, like, can they do it again? Let's down them again on their 8th Super Bowl run.
Right. And why not just throw in Mrs. Kelce in the mix, Mrs. Taylor Kelce in the mix with that too.
Well, Travis better play another 3 or 4 years, or they're going to blame Swift for making him retire early.
That's true.
Right,
yeah.
So million storylines. You can't write this stuff.
Yeah. Well, you say 2 to 3 more years, so hopefully that would be in 2 years. So 2 right now. So, but we're talking 4 or 5 at that point. I mean, that'd be an amazing problem to have. And I was looking at, obviously a Holmgren. Andy comes from the Holmgren tree there. Holmgren actually retired at the age of 60 when he went to Seattle and retired in 2008.
Yeah,
he was 48, born in 48, so he's 60 going on 61 when he retired. Andy's obviously older than that, and yeah, we have a lot of older coaches from who are staying a long time with Carroll, Belichick, and that's the thing. Like Carroll, I read today he's probably the front runner to get the UCLA head coaching job. So like this guy's not done, and he's 72 years old, and
And I'll tell you, if the Patriots were going to Super Bowls every year, there would be not even a whisper about Belichick retiring. Okay,
None.
so let's not even if he was still on top like that, there'd be he wouldn't even he would utter something under his breath about that question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why Bradshaw's not interviewing him, throwing the stick mic in his face, saying, "Is this it? Is this it, Bill? Are you done?" No, he wouldn't say. That's the thing. Bradshaw can do that with a guy like Andy Reid because Andy Reid's, a playful, fun guy. Belichick's gonna give you a dirty look at me, shove you off the stage for saying, "Asking a dumb question."
Yeah.
Only when Bradshaw's the only one that could do that to Belichick. I'm sure he'd
They give him the arm around the shoulder and did it all.
Yeah.
Like he's talking to his an older brother.
Yeah, give him a noogie.
Yeah. But you know what? Obviously, I hope we win Sunday, and I do think we're going to win Sunday. But I hope that there is none of that. I don't. The CBS is doing the interviewing after the game, so it'll probably be Romo or Nance. I don't think Nance is going to ask him that question. I hope they let the guys celebrate without throwing these accusations. That was it. You and you're going to go right on the sunset. Just let them enjoy the Super Bowl.
Let them enjoy it. Yeah.
Also funny coming from a 75-year-old Bradshaw who still is doing a pretty hectic TV schedule for the last 30 years. What are you going to retire? What about you, dude? You're 75. Are you going to stop doing Fox?
You can let Drew Brees take your job?
Yeah. I mean, I'll ask you the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.